Hi, I'm Lori. I'm a writer and philosopher, and today I'm going to talk about mental illness, cognitive style, and beautiful minds. Mental illness and how we catalog minds of ASD, ADHD, schizo. And by the way, if you had to diagnose me, you would say that I have ADHD and mild ASD and sensory processing issues. I'm sensory seeking mostly, and pretty much that would be it. Now, these cataloging of minds and these our concept of mental illness like bipolar, BPD, narcissism. It has to do with the need for most people to be dependable in arriving to a job at 9 and leaving at 5. Now, this need is no less than 150 years old. And humanity is 200,000 years old. So it's a pretty modern need, and so is the need of an address. We need an address because the employer needs a place to go and get you to go to work. When, let's say, a century ago, people would want to do no-work strikes, peaceful strikes. Like the boss would send the police or send other workers to the houses of different workers and make them work. And if you have no address, if you are unhoused, nobody can coerce you to work. And that's that. However, for centuries and millennia, there were a portion of humans who were itinerant. And sometimes that was part of their occupation, and sometimes that was just their soul. They were mystics, and they were explorers and travelers and merchants. And they didn't have a diagnosis. They weren't considered mentally ill. They were considered part of humanity. And maybe some people judged or not. But, they were part of the fabric of society as a whole. And now we are being commanded and supervised into having this very specific life, and we are being told that adhering to that very specific life equals mental health. But that very specific life might not be there in 10 years, and now the acceleration of technology is giving everybody dread and anxiety because we've been told that being healthy is adhering to a type of life that might not be there in 10 years. So what will be being healthy then? If our sense of worth and even our healthfulness came from adhering to a system that might or might not be faltering, then who are we? And so when people say, well, that technology will do everything and we'll have everything we need, people still feel dread, and they say, well, that maybe the transition is hard. But the dread is, who am I? And well, if you have ADHD and a little ASD, that means that you're somebody who eloped when you were little, that you were full of curiosity and a need for adventure. And that means that you are the person who a long time ago would leave a town to see another and bring knowledge from one place to the other. And It means that you, at some point, were the hero who stood up for injustice and so changed through. And it means that you were the one who reached out to a tree to pick up a fruit that was never tried before, that might be delicious or might be poisonous. And so that's who you are. And you are not a mental illness, whether they call you bipolar or schizoid or whatever. You are part of humanity, and you are part of humanity excelling. You're not someone to be tolerated. You are someone who is a key part of flourishing. And so that's who you are. A beautiful mind. I'm Lori, and thank you for listening. I love you.